Three,
Three,
two,
two,
1. And
pa!
ow.
Yeah, I think you take this one, man. I did the last three, I think.
Oh, I'm taking. Okay.
Yeah, take it.
What if JR was a Laker? Anyways, welcome to our weekly wrap up.
I'd be Kyle Kuzma if I can get traded because people hate on me.
What if JR was a Laker? He couldn't be. He ain't old enough. Anyways, welcome to our weekly Disney Plus Marvel Studios TV show wrap up bonus episode. I know it doesn't fit on a poster, but we are talking episode 3 of what if Earth lost its mightiest heroes. And this was a well-written, well-put-together episode, and we're going to get into it. So if you want to, while we rant and ramble here for just a little bit, get your episode locked up, get your Disney Plus subscription going, get it to the logo, and that's right, it actually makes that sound, and get ready. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching Disney Plus, need something else to watch these days, we made a little plug last week. Not getting paid by Disney Plus though. Mr. Other Bob, my cup check or whatever his name is. If you want to sponsor, we're open. You know, since you're you're saving money on not paying Scarlett. So, anyways, got him. Just released, I think yesterday was the behind. It was the Disney Galleries behind the scenes of season 2, the final episode of Mandalorian, where of course we know Luke Skywalker made his return. They talk about how they were able to film that episode. I haven't watched it yet. I can't wait. I've been putting it off, but it's on Disney Plus now. Also, news, speaking of Mandalorian real quick, Carl Weathers let it slip last week that Mandalorian season 3 goes into production inside of a month. And bad news for you Mando fans, supposedly season 3 will be the final season of the Mandalorian, but the spin-offs will live on. Who's not to say that Din Djarin won't just be, it won't be like this guy right here. It won't be like freaking Sam Jackson just gonna show up. Because we do know he's actually in The Rise of Skywalker. His ship shows up. We don't know technically who's piloting it, but his ship, even though his ship was destroyed, but who cares? Time travel. But
hey, who knows? Maybe he'll be back with the new trilogy that our boys are gonna do when they start heading the whole. Or maybe
Mephisto, who's over JR's shoulder right there, maybe brought him back out. But they are filming the book of Boba Fett that's supposed to be out this Christmas. We are still getting the spin-off show of Ahsoka. We are still getting the spin-off of Obi-Wan. And then the spin-off of the guy, I can never remember his name, the guy from Rogue One.
Oh, yeah. Cassian?
Yeah, Cassian. That's what it's called. I think it's just called Cassian.
Yeah.
So we've got plenty of Star Wars to wet our beak into the next millennium.
R.I.P. Wings of the New Republic. R.I.P. Or what was that one thing called?
Rangers of the New Republic.
R.I.P. Rangers of the New Republic. I was looking forward to that, man. God damn it.
I gotta say, we're not gonna get into too much politics, but I gotta say, cooler heads prevailed. Marvel didn't go full Gina Carano and fire Leticia Wright. We do know that Leticia Wright, who plays Shuri in Black Panther, is on set filming Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We'll talk about that more on our weekend show because boy, some stuff happened in Boston this week. Talk about it. So much is going on. So much is going on in Marvel. But JR, real quick, let's get into what if Earth lost their mightiest heroes. That's what we're on. Real quick, before we start play, we're not gonna hit play yet. When you found out the title of this episode, what were your like your notes going in? Like, what were you kind of expecting, or have you thrown the rule book out the window with what if?
I mean, I just threw everything out. Yeah, I just wanted to first just do those things where I think I watched episode like maybe at least once, at least once, but like at least go over it another second time, just partially check over that, right? And I more so just try to remember what really stuck out to me, not just in realms of possibilities, but more so just like how's the style, the writing, all that stuff. And honestly, overall, I will say it's a really well put together episode.
Yeah.
People are gonna be people there. I did have seen some of the comments though, people saying they feel a little bit let down. Well, because one, last week's episode is probably gonna be the episode of the whole season. Honestly, it's because it's hard to come down from. It's hard to come after that, basically.
Yeah.
But right now, like, it's a great story to tell.
Yeah.
Though in episode 3, what happens if we lost everybody? Type of thing. And
overall,
it was actually a really well paced episode too. It felt like, for me at least, it like never really slowed down, but was never too fast, if that made sense, right? It was on a good barometer of like, all right, cool, this happened, and this happened, this happened, this happened, right? And it made sense. Like, it was kind of going through. There was maybe one part of it I'm like, oh man, I wish they kind of expanded on more, specifically Black Widow's part.
Yeah.
But like,
which we'll
yeah.
So if you're ready, let's cue it up. I'm gonna hit play and go. I'm gonna turn it down so we don't get copyrighted. Which we did on our Spider-Man, which you can check in the link.
Yeah.
They let it fly.
I mean, here's the thing, like, for those who are listening to us right now, when we do reactions, we're most likely not gonna be getting any type of ad revenue anyway.
No.
Most of our stuff is gonna be from from streaming anyway. So if you guys definitely want to support us, please listen to our streams on podcasts. On all our podcast below. So please.
Yeah, and also like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave us comments, and watch some of the other videos that we don't get copyrighted on by Marvel Studios. So we're at the Marvel Studios logo. We go into the Watcher intro, and I could listen to the sweet melodic sounds of Jeffrey Wright any day of the week. I could let him read the phone book and I'd listen.
Yeah.
He's awesome, he is so good as you watch it.
Yeah. They just have to like have him just narrate everything, honestly. That'd be great.
Could he's not the sweet like deep sound of like James Earl Jones, and whatnot. And he's not obviously I can't think of his name, the guy from Shawshank Redemption.
Ving Rhames? Not Ving Rhames. Oh, sorry. Not Ving Rhames, dude. But yeah, I remember you talking about. He passed away sadly, like a couple of years ago.
But anyway, but no, Jeffrey Wright is fantastic. So this show opens up with the typical, like I said, the Watcher explaining what if. And he does kind of go through, again, explains to, like, hey, guys, it's one little thing that turns this on a dime. And it starts off Monday. So we right off the bat, we're getting Fury's big week. Of course, if you didn't read back when phase 1 happened, Fury's big week was the culmination of the Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, leading into the Avengers. In this episode, it opens up with Nick Fury and Black Widow, who's voiced by Lake Bell, an incredible actress.
Yes, it is.
Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, and
awesome here too.
Tony Stark is voiced by Mick Winger, and he only has about like 2 lines, and he actually sounds like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And he kind of looks like him too. But they do the whole scene from Iron Man 2, where he's dealing with the palladium.
Yeah. On the donut. He's on the donut, in the suit, and they're at the coffee shop. So yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, where are they going to go with this? They're going to do Fury's Nick Week. Are we going to finally get a version of Fury's Big Week? She gets the shot, the shot into the neck, and then they're talking, and then all of a sudden Tony starts having like almost like
spasms,
a spasm or a seizure, and keels over. Now there was a lot of people that didn't see the coffee mug, and the promo art made it look like it was blood, and it was what if, and the people thought it was going to be what if Natasha Romanoff killed Tony Stark, and so I thought I was like, holy crap, and then I realized, okay, he's been poisoned or something, but was it poisoned by Natasha? And that was the change right there, Jared. There's always a singular moment where something changes the alternate, and this now has become an alternate universe. And now we get Jeffrey Wright narrating the Fury's Big Week. He's talking about Thor and whatnot. And I think what we're going to be seeing next here is we're going to see the scene from New Mexico. The artwork, so good.
Yeah, it's like it's very consistent all throughout. Like that's always been like one of my problems before with either animated like TV shows or even just cartoon animation. It's always discrepancies, right? I understand budget and all that stuff. So like one scene would look amazing, and the next scene will like look like trash, type of thing. For cell shaded stuff and CG stuff, like I've been saying before, it's always prominent. It's always the same level of detail, except for maybe a couple scenes in the background with like the Hulk appearance. I will say, I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. It's still a little rough at the back end of it, but
Yeah,
like
I'll give you
you're
that,
not
though.
paying attention to that. If you watch the episode, you're not paying attention to the background. You're
No.
paying attention to what happened.
You're paying attention with what happened in that scene.
Oh god, yeah.
Frank Grillo is back as
Yes, sir.
he's voiced by Brock Rumlow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Frank Grillo is voicing Brock Rumlow,
Yeah,
aka
Crossbones.
and I believe one of the other characters, he doesn't have a line, I don't think, but maybe he has one little line. But the guy who plays, I don't know, the big muscle head in Winter Soldier is also voiced by the.
Oh yeah. He's basically he's basically like the right hand man of Rumlow.
Yeah.
So
in this, we get to see Natasha escapes from Shield slash unknowing Hydra captive because she is being blamed for the death of Tony Stark. There is a very similar fight sequence between Shield agents slash Hydra agents in the back of a van. Very reminiscent to Cap's fight in the elevator in Winter Soldier. We see Rumlow open up the back of the thing. Natasha's gotten free. Then we go to New Mexico. Fast forward to Puente Antiguo, New Mexico, where the side of Thor's hammer coming down. We see Jeremy Renner voicing Hawkeye, Samuel L. Jackson voicing Nick Fury. I was really curious, knowing what we know about Party Thor, where they were going to go with this scene. Wasn't expecting this. So, knowing the title of the show, were you nervous every time they show an inevitable Avenger appearance?
Honestly, no. I was thinking like, all right, they might die, so I kind of want to see how this plays out, type of thing, right? I was more so not nervous, more so like expecting how would this character die, right? And for originally, I'm just fucking spoil it, right? Thor, how Thor is killed is basically when, if you remember back in the first movie where he tries to pick up his hammer, right? The rain's there, right? And you see Clint with the arrow, right? Pointing down at him, but then Nick Fury says, "Hey, Clint, no, hold off." He holds off. When this one, surprisingly, I forgot to rewind back. We didn't see Clint unnotched, right?
He was about to, when they show it later, when they reveal what happened.
That was one of my problems too, though.
And it's coming to that scene right now. I was like, I'm gonna watch it right now and see if he does unclench. So Thor is going to lift the hammer. This is where he wants. Hey, let's see this. He's already kicked everybody's ass. Phil Coulson's like, and I think there's a bolt of lightning or something like that, and he goes, okay, he's holding the hammer. No, it doesn't. They don't show it. They don't show it close up. They show it from a wide angle.
Yeah. So but like it's basically one frame shows him aiming down on with his bow and arrow on Thor. The next frame, then you see Thor with an arrow at his heart, like immediately.
Well, you see a crash of lightning, and then all of a sudden the arrow slings. Now,
but the thing about that is literally the next frame, though, when it goes back on him, he's still in that notch position, though.
Yeah, so there's no way he would have had to release it.
Yeah, so that was the weird thing with me. And then they expect like that. That's I guess when the bad things are having when you have an expected time slot of around 24, 27 minutes, like that wasn't the expectation, because visually frame, the arrow is still notched in on the bowstring. but like we then get to see later on the episode, like the arrow was technically notched, was released.
Yeah.
So it was weird. But other than that, that's for people who forget how does an arrow kill Thor. This is when Thor didn't have his powers. All his powers were taken away. He was a human. He was trying to get his powers back by trying to lift up Mjolnir again, which shows that he's unworthy at that point. Yes. Because his father took away all his powers.
And we also have to assume too is that, remember, once Tony Stark dies at the hand of Natasha Romanoff, wink, the whole universe changes. So we don't know. Yes, he is and we do know later in the episode that he is acknowledged. He is the crown prince of Asgard, and I'm sure that's Loki, but he is the prince of Asgard. And we do know from the Thor movie, like Jairus mentioned, his powers or his his powers were stripped of him. And of course the Odin curse was put on Mjolnir. He who is worthy may possess the power of Thor.
Yeah.
And I guess it is acknowledged kind of like in I'm going to pause this for a second.
Yeah.
Is that I guess because I was thinking like, no, wait, I guess he still technically is a god. He just can't have like full powers. But I'm like, no, he was hit with that taser by Darcy. I'm like, that if he was a god, it would have bounced right off of him.
Mm-hmm.
This part right here, I want to pause it for a second to set this up. This I fanboyed over. Nick's scene after, of course, Hawkeye is found dead in his cell. That's where I was like, holy crap, now it's on. Nobody's safe. They're going to kill all the Avengers.
Yeah.
We go to Culver University. We have not seen nor heard reference of any of this stuff in canon since Edward Norton's The Incredible Hulk. Yep. And part of me was going, are we going to see it? Did they get him back? They don't. Spoiler alert, Mark Ruffalo does the voice. But and of course, one of the first things we see in Culver University is Betty Ross is back. It's not Jennifer Connelly.
No, it's not. Sadly, it's Stephanie Panciello.
No, it's not. Jennifer Connelly was in the first one. The second one is Liv Tyler.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Jennifer Connelly though is the AI for Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
But we get to see almost frame for frame, it looks exactly like the university from The Incredible Hulk. Mm-hmm. And this was one of my favorite parts of the movie. And we see, of course, Natasha breaks free. She manages to get the syringe that, quote unquote, she used to kill Tony Stark. Yeah. But she's trying to find out what's in it. Was there poison? And I think this is where I started to put together what is actually going on, because we find out that the needle is not, the needle's busted.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like it was punched through. So at a minuscule size.
I will say too, it's freaking cool. It was interesting to me how like the death of Hulk here, I'm like, it was
a little.
I mean, I have to not just that, but like just more so like, damn, that's how he dies. Like for those who don't, for those who know, and for those who've seen it, right? Spoiler alert: how Hulk dies in this one was that something happens and he grows a large bulbous form and then just explodes. Right? Not how I expected Hulk to die, but people will just throw out gamma radiation, right? Gamma over radiation, right? Side stuff, right? So cool, whatever. It was just the reasoning and how he died, though. I'm like, really, that's the way. But okay, whatever. We'll get to that. We will definitely get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, type of thing. I will say too, though, since it brought up the guy, I forgot his name. What was the big bad in Hulk?
Well, other than Thaddeus Ross.
No, the other one. What's his name?
Blonsky.
He's Blonsky, but like he's Abomination.
Abomination.
But like I would like to say though, if this happened, right? He never how like in the second this time in the movie when he faces against the Hulk, he is a super soldier. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then the third time he used it, he was the Abomination. I wonder if ever, they will reference back to this to have more super soldiers.
Yeah.
Because again, during this time in Incredible Hulk, even though it was a Marvel property, it wasn't necessarily MCU yet, right? It wasn't the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet. It was there,
They were
sure.
building. They were building it. These were the first two movies.
Yeah,
Iron Man 1 and Incredible Hulk were
yeah,
produced by Marvel Studios,
yeah.
but the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe wasn't
Wasn't really fleshed out
fleshed
type
out
of
yet.
thing.
Yeah.
But like, just it's just crazy to think now that they could possibly reference this scene like this because canonically, well, not canonically, but like, yeah, I guess canonically, or timeline wise, right, of movies, this is technically the first time we see a super soldier in the MCU when it's just the first two movies.
Yeah.
Because the guy is technically taking a certain serum that made the Hulk become the Hulk, or Bruce Banner become the Hulk, right?
Yeah.
And then he's able to freaking run, jump, punch faster than anyone else until he gets freaking drop kicked by a Hulk, and then he's like he's paper mache.
Yeah.
But like, that's just an interesting point to put out, though. I just want to say, make that note. I'm wondering if they would ever reference that back to if someone's crazy enough to take gamma radiation and to be a super soldier. So, but
Well, we see
yeah,
the army of Asgard come down via the Bifrost, along with
yeah,
the destroyer, as well
yeah,
as Lady Sif and the Warriors 3.
yeah.
Now, though I don't think I ever hear her utter a word, Jamie Alexander
Yep.
is listed as the voice actor for Sif. So,
Sir.
Jamie, thank you. You've come home. We
Oh my
we
god,
love
dude,
you.
I missed her.
I miss her. She could possibly be my Woman Crush Wednesday next week. I will say one of the fun parts of this episode with the Hulk was you see obviously Bruce Banner played by or voiced by Mark Ruffalo, and you see him go like kind of like acknowledge Natasha Romanoff, and there's his girlfriend Betty Ross standing right next to him, and then you see the woman who he later down the line courts, so to speak, or kind of he's got a little thing for. He's got a thing for Black Widow. So it's kind of weird.
Mhm.
He's got his girl and a side piece there. So kind of awkward for Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner, but
I mean, it is what it is. Like, it would have been cool to see some type of storyline with Black Widow and Hulk, but then granted, that was a love storyline that, the late, not the late, but like, the ex director Joss Whedon kind of pushed in, so they probably axed the shit out of that. So it is what it is.
well, they still kind of acknowledge that there is history when
Yeah.
when Natasha and Bruce come face to face with one another in Infinity War, and of course it's just kind of blown off when Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson goes awkward. We do see Loki, of course, using uh, the the, the cast of Infinite Frost, or whatever it is. It's the weapon, the box from Jotunheim. I did think it was interesting. We see General Ross, who's voiced by Michael Patrick McGill, not the original actor, but he does look a lot like the original actor.
Yes.
We see Loki then attack the Shield agents using the cast, and you see Hulk going smash on a bunch of army people. Not quite reached the problem with Hulk yet.
Mhm.
Again, I'm looking at the artwork, and I still don't see the issue that you had. Is it coming up with the big explosion scene?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a pet peeve for me. It's one of those things where like I look for this type of stuff, right? If you're
Being
just
an
an
artist.
avid, if you're just a viewer of it, right? You won't think of anything of it, but like, yeah, it's me. It's definitely one of my things.
I will say that I wasn't a big fan of the way they kill Bruce, but I get why that has to be the way. I mean, and when it's revealed at this point, I kind of had an idea of what who was up to this.
Mm.
And again, we still see Loki attacking Shield and whatnot. And so we now have 4 of the potential Avengers are now dead,
Yep.
You have Hawkeye, Thor, Hulk, and Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So man,
There's 4.
I'd
Yeah,
hate to
man.
be Natasha Romanoff.
Oh man, they did her dirty. Damn it.
So
So yeah, it was a we're just gonna skip straight to it. We see a bunch of just like we see Natasha being we see Nat being basically being Nat, right? She's a spy. She tries to she's still Nat. There it's been hinted, well not hinted, but like it's been seen throughout the episode, like, maybe it still is Nat, but the Nat is kind of like
she's trying everything
doing
to
her
clear her name.
she's doing heroic stuff where she's trying to clear stuff, and then she digs through files, she digs through things, and she comes to find out who was the actual killer.
Yeah, she sees a bunch of Shield agents pop up, and she
Mm-hmm.
sees 2 names that come up that
Yep.
were a part of the Avengers initiative. That's what at the core of this episode is going back to Nick Fury's initiative in 1993
Yep.
to create the Avengers initiative, based on his interaction with Carol Danvers.
Yep.
Important. And so, like JR said, she opens up a file by the help of, you guess it, Phil Coulson, voiced by Clark Gregg. Glad to see him back.
Yep.
And she pulls up records on the Avengers initiative to see who helped create the Avengers within Shield, and the names that pop up. And as she brings it up, I believe one of them is Nick Fury, the obvious.
Yep.
But let me see what else files. I cannot remember who the other ones were. But let's see, there's Coulson, Fury, Janet Van Dyne, Maria Hill, and one other one. Let me go back. I want to freeze frame it here. So
Yeah.
the root administration system. Okay, Alexander Pierce is the 5th person.
Yeah.
Of course, Alexander Pierce, he's the representative of SHIELD on the World Security Council. So you have those 5 members. Janet Van Dyne. Okay. Why does that sound familiar? You guessed it. Wife of Hank Pym, disappeared into the quantum realm. And also the mother of Hope Van Dyne. And what we find out in a kind of a quick little throwaway line is that what's it called? Nat kind of puts 2 and 2 together and starts basically saying, like, why do I'm getting a message from a woman who's been dead for 2 years, hinting at Hope Van Dyne, who we find out later, spoiler alert, is a SHIELD agent. And of course, in the movie, in the main Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline, she's not, at least not that we know of. But when we first meet Hope Van Dyne, she's actually working for Pymtech, under Darian Cross. That also is important to this episode. But we see Nick reading or listening to a voicemail over and over again. It's funny. It's like I couldn't quite make out what it was saying. It started with an H. Was it Hulk was the answer or something like that? And then I realized that they're saying Hope was the answer. And I'm like, oh, okay, things are starting to shape up here. Do you recognize the last name and the connection? This is where I really started to put together, Jared.
Yeah. It was definitely an interesting viewpoint to it. It's kind of fast forward just a little bit too. We find out that Hank Pym, still alive and well and kicking around, has not just lost his wife at this point, but now lost his daughter for a couple of years, right? And he's become deranged, and he is set on this path of just straight vengeance, wanting to destroy everything.
Yeah.
So,
which we saw a hint of in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with his reaction to the dismissiveness of Janet's death in the beginning of Ant-Man back at the Trespalian.
With Howard Stark and my girl Peggy
Carter. I do like this thing where he goes something about, he's talking with Coulson real quick. And he goes, what are you going to do? He says, I think I have to go make a deal with the devil. And I was like, Mephisto? But okay. No, go ahead, Jack.
No, yeah, but yeah, they basically who we see, who what seems to be the next scene. Oh my god, we see Nick at the gravesite of Hope Van Dyne, and then through the smog and shadow, we see, or through the fog and shadow, we see Hank
Yeah,
there.
this is San Francisco, not Los Angeles.
Yeah, so we see Hank there, dressed in a yellow jacket outfit, right? And so if people remember the first Ant-Man, I forgot who it was that was big
Darian
bad,
Cross.
but Darian Cross, he wore the yellow jacket outfit.
Yes.
But we see then him wearing, of course, Nat dies, sadly, horribly. We see that she gets thrown and tossed around, and just stuff happens. It's sad, it's horrible. She was the great constant in the episode. And they did her dirty. What the fuck? Everyone else in that fucking episode died instantly. She's the one that gets beaten down, but that's neither here there.
Which, by the way, real quick, I'm gonna hit pause for a second.
Yeah.
I want to address this because you just brought up a good point. Everyone else is killed instantly. Hulk maybe, but he was killed instantly.
Yeah.
Nat was meant to be tortured. She's tossed around. She's trapped. She's jumped around.
She's tossed around in the air, up a ceiling, horribly.
Okay, it is acknowledged in this episode that Hope Van Dyne dies in the field. Okay.
Yep.
Where did she die? She died in Odessa, Ukraine. Now, why does that mean anything, Kevin? I'm going to tell you guys, Odessa, Ukraine is referenced in Captain America, the Winter Soldier. In that episode, it's the famous scene where it's no longer bikini season. Nat takes a gut shot by a sniper, from a sniper, aka Bucky, the Winter Soldier, trying to get after a SHIELD agent. Now, is it a possibility that at some point before she went to work for Pimtech, that maybe Hope Van Dyne in the mainline Marvel Cinematic Universe was a SHIELD agent like her father and her mother before her and survived that assassination? And again, the difference of one little change in the storyline can change everything. So canonically, Odessa, Ukraine does exist in the mainline Marvel Cinematic Universe. So
yes, it's that horrible, gruesome scene where we see Nat being tossed everywhere, then bookshelves fall on her, and then we see her being pulled away dramatically, and then she's killed off screen. We go back to the gravesite, and we see a very deranged looking Hank Pym, where he's super disheveled, right? He's still in that suit, fit as can be, and he goes on about just like, you've taken everything from me. SHIELD has taken everything away from me. You took away my wife, now you take away my daughter, right? And then we see Nick Fury going like, oh, she was a field agent like her parents.
Yeah,
she was an agent like your parents.
Real quick, Michael Douglas does the voice of Hank Pym / Yellow Jacket in this, and obviously he was he was the model decoy. He was the model for the animation version of Hank Pym.
Mm-hmm.
JR is right. You have to see the art. This is probably some of my favorite artwork from all the episodes. Deranged Hank Pym is awesome. Yeah. Because if you go to the comic books, sidebar, Yellow Jacket is not portrayed originally by a different guy. It's first portrayed by Hank Pym when he goes freaking nuts and kills the Avengers, or tries to kill the Avengers.
Yep.
Because they blame him for I think
Ultron.
Everything. If he blames them for Ultron, which technically he fucking created. But tell me, you wouldn't want to see real life Michael Douglas play deranged freaking Hank Pym.
Dude, if Michael Douglas was 20, if Michael Douglas was at least 20 years younger, dude, it would be freaking amazing to see him. But like, just over that, like, there's some comments I've seen around, right, saying that, because this motherfucker lost people, like, now we see the destruction of this world. There's very few things that are scarier than a man who has nothing to lose, especially when he lost his wife and his daughter.
Murdoch.
So I'm like, it's definitely one of those things where they really try to hammer that point on, where he is deranged. He's simply deranged. The one thing that if people forgot in the MCU to help him get through all this stuff was his daughter. And like it's this weird thing with geniuses who, our only connection to the world is literally their loved ones, type of thing. And so when all that is taken away from him, his whole sole focus was to kill everybody, to destroy everybody that that Shield wanted to have. Even that they show how he killed Iron Man. He went into the injection and released some type of something else. Killed him there. He was injected into the Hulk when Bruce Banner was when he was initially shot, and then he went into that hole, and then he hulked out, and then he shot at his heart and enlarged his heart, which then made the rest of Hulk die or self-immolate. It was weird. And then he killed Hawkeye by entering through his ear, and then he did some shit. I think caused it probably an aneurysm or a stroke, like a really massive stroke. And so you see all these things happen, and then the big reveal happens, and then you see Hank Pym try to fight against Nick Fury, and Nick Fury is very spry. He's doing all these things, taking him out one by they're doing melee combat, all this crazy stuff, only to find out that that it's not really Nick Fury, it was a ruse, because now Nick Fury is hundreds of Nick Furies around them, being teleported, a large Nick Fury and all this stuff. We found out that Nick Fury actually went back to where was the town where Mjolnir was at? Oh, the town which was absolutely decimated, by the way. The town was decimated because Asgardian found out that Thor died, and so we're gonna just bring the whole army and destroy whatever this town is, right? But he goes back to that town, and then he goes to the Thor destroyer, or what was it called?
Just the destroyer.
The destroyer, and said, "Hey, let me talk to your big boss." And then we find out that the Nick Fury that was fighting Hank Pym was actually Loki. So deal with the devil happened. So they stop him. They stop him. They put him in cuffs, and then Loki, being Loki, goes, "Huh? I know that you said that I wanted revenge, and you guys took him, but it looks like I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna become your leader now." And so we have Loki taking over the world as the end of it.
And you had kind of hinted at this, JR, last week when you had heard about Loki coming to Earth to almost kind of be an ambassador, that, oh crap, we're going to get President Loki. And that's essentially what we get. We get more like God Loki, because he takes over the entire Earth.
Yeah.
And we do see the Asgardian army overtake the White House. Yeah. But I remember my wife and I both saw when we saw Loki marching towards the United Nations, I was like, shit, this isn't going to end well.
Yeah, it's not.
I will say this
are meant to be ruled. That was such an awesome line.
Very reminiscent of the Avengers monologue from Germany, from Stuttgart. And what I will say this, a combination of, obviously we've seen Loki do the multiplication spell, but it was very reminiscent at times of the scene where Mysterio traps Peter in kind of a mirror dimension, so to speak. Like a mirror trick, so to speak, in Far From Home. But no, all in all, like, this was a really well written episode. And going back and watching it again, and then listening to some of the other reviews, Nerdist did a really good review where they talked about how, and if you watch it from the vantage point of, it's like the movie Seven, it's very eerily similar. And it was great. It was a great line that the great Dan Casey said. He goes, it was like watching an animated version of Seven based in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, except you don't end up with Pepper Potts' head in a box. And I sat there and I'm cracking up laughing at that line. And my wife's like, "Oh, it's funny." Yeah. And again, spoiler alert, if you've never seen the movie Seven, pause, go watch it and come back.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Pepper
What's in
Potts
the
played by
box?
Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow has her head cut off and put it in a box in freaking 7.
7. Yeah. What's in the
But
box? What's in the box?
what's in the fucking box? One of the greatest cinematic lines of all time. Brad Pitt should have won an Oscar for it.
Oh man, it was great. Yeah.
But yeah, we do get to see Ambassador Loki,
played by Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston did voice him. It was great.
Real quick, to take a look at the cast of characters from this episode, we mentioned Jeffrey Wright, the Watcher, Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury, Hank Pym came back to play. I'm sorry, Michael Douglas came back to play Hank Pym and the Yellow Jacket. The great Lake Bell. If you don't know who she is, look her up. She's fantastic. She's a great voice actor too.
Yes, she is.
Like we mentioned, Mick Wingert played Tony Stark for about 3.2 seconds. Clark Gray came back as Phil Coulson. Frank Grillo came back to play Brock Rumlow. Jeremy Renner as Clint Barton. Stephanie Panicello played Betty Ross.
She's an awesome voice actress too. She's been in a lot of things.
Mark Ruffalo, Bruce Banner, Tom Henderson played Loki. Michael Patrick McGill as General Ross. Yep. Lady Sif played by Jamie Alexandra
Daniels. So before you say that, what happens near the end is that as Loki is basically taking over Earth, broadcasting his UN speech saying that, hey, you guys are meant to be ruled and I'm here to rule you. You guys will know peace now because I'm ruling you. You're better. And during this time, you see Nick Fury with Agent Coulson, basically at you see what they call again, dude? The caskets, all the caskets of the Avengers, right? Saying that we still have to do something, right? And so you see the next scene is basically you see Fury go to a place filled with ice, and
another part of Fury's big week.
He goes to a place filled with ice, and you see the shield of Captain America. The one person the people that we didn't reference in this episode was that Steve Rogers hasn't been out of the ice yet. He's still in the ice. He's there, and then you see Nick Fury going, all right, we gotta start here, and then right behind him is Captain Marvel. She's back.
Which, by the way, earlier in the episode we didn't talk about it, was he does pull out the pager, but doesn't use it. He doesn't use the ace up his sleeve. So yeah, he's putting together an Avengers team. Now, people are going to, well, wait a minute, the Steve we know died in 1945. Well, you're right. It's assumed because Steve Rogers never got the super soldier serum in episode 1 of What If.
Yeah, and that would have.
But it has to be understood now.
It is a multiverse.
It's the multiverse, and that each one of these episodes is a different universe. We now know that there was question that possibly T'Challa becoming Star-Lord was could have been in the same universe, and it's just telling a different side of the story, just like in the mainline MCU, where we saw First Avenger. We found out what happened to Peggy Carter. We found out what happened to Steve Rogers. He was frozen in the earth, and then snap. James Gunn tells this amazing space opera about these losers from outer space that become the Guardians of the Galaxy. That happens on the other side of the universe. So it could have happened whenever. But we know now that each episode is its own individual what if in its own universe. So in this universe, Steve Rogers got the super soldier serum, went into the ice, and was frozen for 70 plus years.
So basically the Nick Fury and the Clint Barton, right, that I guess opened this portal which took out Peggy Carter, Captain America, Captain Carter, right? That was a different Clint Barton and a different Nick Fury. In that timeline, there's a big possibility that Thor is around, that everyone's around. So again, it is one of those things where like people are so used to like mainline story, linear storylines, that when it's something that's out of the ordinary, it's hard to pick out. So yeah, literally every episode, different universe, possibly same outcomes in certain way, in small ways, but different universe regardless. Every single episode. So in this one, T'Challa, in this universe, T'Challa is still could possibly be Black Panther.
Now, it should be noted, based on IMDb and some of the thumbnails, next week's episode should be the first Doctor Strange episode, which we understand now it could be the key to the multiverse of the What If universe. Because we've seen in the teaser trailers that there is some kind of team up between all these different characters that we see, but we don't know that for sure. It looks like in 2 weeks, um, would be what if Thor was banished to Earth, but was still worthy of his mantle. So that's in 2 weeks, allegedly, according to
Yeah.
IMDb. 3 weeks, we should get the Tony Stark story
Killmonger.
where he is saved by Killmonger.
Yeah, man, that'd be cool.
And then in 4 weeks, on September 22nd, we should begin, looks like, back-to-back episodes of Marvel Zombies. It's according to the IMDb thumbnail, but we could be wrong. But it looks like next week we are going to get.
Here's hoping.
We're going to get the first Doctor Strange story, because we know that it's rumored that Doctor Strange is kind of the big, kind of the connection to this, because he's able to open up the multiverse and whatnot.
Yeah.
Overall, where do you rank this so far? We're 3 episodes into What If. Where do you rank episode number 3?
Probably 2.
Hard to beat last week, but this one was pretty damn good.
Just 2. It's number 2. It's definitely it is a good appetizer to where I want to see the rest of the series. Like,
absolutely,
you can't beat number 2 in the sense of like just what it meant.
Yeah.
But number 3 was a great way to kind of pivot off everything else in the sense of like storyline, pacing, how things, the possibilities of like outcomes, right? That's it. Like, that's definitely it's basically going to be there to open people's minds up now, right?
Yeah.
That if people really, when they see the concept of it and they see that this Nick Fury was different from the Nick Fury in episode 1, as well as different from Clint Barton 2, like every universe is completely different. It's like its own separate story, and somehow somewhere down the line it might link up, which I'm really hoping for. And from it sounds like season 2 might be doing that, dude. We might have some version of either Midnight Suns, or we might have some version of I forgot that one Marvel group where they literally go through different universes to try to fix the wrongs of what they've done. And we kind of have that right now with like the cast of the MCU with freaking Scarlet Witch, this fucking guy right here. We might have that, maybe a Spider-Man, and some other people that are coming. It's just, the possibilities right now are fucking endless. I want to see this continue. It's fucking awesome. I just want Disney to not fuck up with the stars, so that they don't ruin for this type of shit. That's that. Yeah, the biggest problem will probably be Disney, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Well, we got a lot to get to later on this week. You'll have to see our main episode coming up. Well, it'll probably be out next week. Well, after we drop, where it drops in.
Yeah,
but
I stopped.
So I'm just saying where it will drop. But I know we missed at this point. If you're watching episode 3 of What If, you realize that we technically missed an episode last week, but we gave you an extra bonus episode with our reaction to the Spider-Man No Way Home teaser trailer. I will say this, JR, I think that maybe the next time that a big trailer comes out, you and I will have to, don't watch it. We're gonna hook up and say like, hey, let's not watch it, and do a live reaction to it. We're still trying to figure that out, guys. I know that you guys have asked for more live stuff so you can interact. We are working on that. We've got a Discord set up, but we're trying to figure out how we can use it for a live show. I know that Chick has asked us to do a live show from the asylum. Now that things are kind of reopening a little bit. But let us know, guys, real quick. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of episode number 3. What if the world lost their mightiest heroes? And let us know where you rank your show so far in the first 3 episodes of this 9-episode What If season. And where's What If right now in the Disney Plus TV universe? I mean, I would say What If is probably my favorite show so far.
There's this fly that's just buzzing around. I want to kill this fly right now, bro. Buzz around my shaved ass head right now. Jesus.
Yeah, let us know some of your how would you have changed things? Let us know some of your fan theories on the previous 3 episodes of What If, including what if Peggy Carter took what if Captain Carter was the first Avenger? What if T'Challa became a Star-Lord, and what if the world lost its mightiest heroes? Let us know what you would have changed in those episodes if you were writing for Marvel and Disney. So you can put those also in the comments below, where we're welcome to all of it. But again, go back. We'll have it at the end of this video. Go back and check out our Spider-Man No Way Home teaser trailer reaction and breakdown. Plus, check out our playlist, which will also be at the end of the video, of our full What If playlist. So go check out episodes 1 and 2.
Yep.
I'm done. I'm spent.
Yeah,
As
man.
we record this, tomorrow's Friday. Can't freaking wait.
I'm gonna like basically kind of just go around trying to kill this freaking fly right now, dude. It's been bugging the hell out of me.
We're gonna let JR go kill the damn fly. I'm gonna go as soon as I hit end record. I'm gonna go start editing this thing. So thank you, future self.
Yeah. And before that, off the air, I'm gonna show Kevin something that I just got recently. It's making kind of hate me a little bit.
All right,
y'all see the next episode. But
Flex pulls will return in our main episode next week. Again, he's JR Cabacungan at also not JR Comics 42 on Instagram. I'm Kevin Hill, the voice of reason, at voice of reason 23 on all social media platforms. And don't forget to follow us at Preps, or that's my other show, at PS Comics I Love You on Instagram and Facebook. PS Comics I Love the letter U on Twitter. PS Comics I Love You at gmail.com. If you want to send us some hate mail or some love mail, whatever, hit us up. So thanks, guys. Be safe, be kind, wear your damn masks, and as always, peace.